Hi everyone, and welcome to Museum TV. My name is Costa Nkomo, and this is the agenda. Against all expectations, really, this week, reinstated MDC T Party Secretary General Douglas Monzora announced that Shakespeare Mukoyi has apologized to Dr. Thokozani Khupe, and as well he has been appointed as the National Youth Chairperson of the Thokozani Khupe-led MDC T. And now there are a lot of questions that people are asking as to the intent of this political move and why exactly is Shakespeare Mukoyi defected to Thokozani Khupe, because a lot of literature do indicate that he was one of the lieutenants of the Chamisa-led MDC since 2018, after the demise of the party founding father, Dr. Richard Morgan Tsvangirai, and a lot of things have happened thereafter. And now to discuss this and other issues, I'm joined by Shakespeare Mukoyi, the one who the media likes to refer as the stormtrooper. I don't know how comfortable he is with that description. Mr. Mukoyi, I must welcome you to the agenda.
Afternoon, how are you?
Hi. Let me just understand from you, because we haven't got time to speak to you. Would you just tell us who is Shakespeare Mukoyi?
Shakespeare Mukoyi is myself. Shakespeare is a revolutionary name that I was given by our late icon when we had some battles some time ago in my central. And I'm not going to divulge on details why he came out with that name. But the likes of Comrade Marima would know much how that name started.
So what's your real name?
My Christian name, I'm Stuart Mukoyi.
Stuart Mukoyi?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what had happened actually for Morgan Tsvangirai to say you are now Shakespeare instead of Stuart?
Yeah, there are a lot of things which happens in the battlefield, which I'm not at liberty to discuss or to divulge at this juncture. But Shakespeare Mukoyi, all what I can say, Shakespeare is a revolutionary name that I was given.
But was this name Shakespeare going to to give a guideline in terms of how you were going to discharge your duties? Because we understand that you were in the youth by then.
Even in our daily lives, you give birth to a child, you give that person or that child a name. So the only person who can know the intent of that name is the one who gave the name to that child. So it's unfortunate Dr. Tsvangirai is deceased. Unless if he was alive, he could have told you why he gave me that name.
Let's talk about something. You were one of the people who were allegedly being in the MDC opposition youth militant group, Christian, the Vanguard. Would you like to tell us what is Vanguard in your understanding, in your experience?
Okay. Yeah, I know that there is a lot of speculation and perception upon the Vanguard outfit. But as you know, some time ago, I was the deputy to my brother, Comrade Rep Mochidziwa Akavondo. Sometime we had a management meeting after noticing that most of our youth members in the youth assembly, they don't have a clear political orientation and a conscientization. So the Vanguard, the role of the Vanguard was to give political education and political orientation to members of the youth assembly so that they know why they exist in the MDC as members of MDC and youth assembly.
But did you live to that bill of saying you wanted the Vanguard to really precisely push the party ideological orientation? Because what we saw and observed even in the press, it became a very militant youth group.
If I'm to ask, Like, what action would you today point that it was militant? Unless, or except if you are pointing to the type of dressing that I designed for purposes of ceremonies. But in its actual activities, I would want anyone around the globe to point that this activity was a militant activity. I don't believe so. And I just think people are speculating on perceptions.
Let me jump straight now to the real issue. What has made you recently, because we have heard the Party Secretary General, Douglas Manzora, they reinstated precisely. Now, you're saying you are now the National Youth Chairperson of the MDC led by Dr. Khupe. You know, right now they have factions in the opposition. What informs your decision to defect from Nelson Chamisa to Thokozani Khupe?
Well, if you say defect, you may say so. For your own information, when I was still a branch chairperson, Nelson Chamisa was the National Youth Chairperson. And from that time until today, we were in good books. So he's one of my mentors. He's one of the people who groomed me. So when someone is grown up and made a decision to do something, it doesn't mean that we have defected. But I've made a decision that I think now I'm grown up politically. I have to make this move.
This is someone whom we are describing as your mentor. Well, obviously, there should be a reason why you have decided to go, because what is on the ground is there are factions right now. There are others who are aligning themselves with the Khupes and others who are sticking with Nelson Chamisa. The majority, if I can say, especially represented by the legislators, the majority of them, they are sticking with Nelson Chamisa. But you now have joined the Thokozani Khupe. What have changed? Why have you taken this decision?
If you look from the party's inception, that is 1999-2000, Thokozani Khupe, Nelson Chamisa, they all worked together. There never been a separation where today you can say this one joined this one joined this one. But maybe there's an idea where people have differences. So if someone's decided to part with an idea and supported an idea, can that be defection?
What is it that you don't like about Nelson Chamisa?
Nothing. We've got everything in common. Nelson Chamisa fights for a new government. We all have one objective. Nelson Chamisa doesn't like ZANU-PF to be in power. The same applies myself and other guys that I'm working with today. We don't like ZANU-PF to be in power. So we share the same sentiments. We might differ on minor issues, but it doesn't mean that we are totally different.
Your mission is to dislodge also ZANU-PF.
Oh, for sure.
And now, when you're choosing the two, Thokozani Khupe and Nelson Chamisa, who is competent enough, who do stand a chance to dislodge ZANU-PF from power?
Both of them are not angelic beings. Both of them are not angelic beings. They've got their advantages, they've got their disadvantages. They've got they've got capabilities and incapabilities, both of them. But I think what is needed and what I fully believe, Thokozani Khupe cannot dislodge ZANU-PF by herself. Neither Nelson Chamisa cannot dislodge ZANU-PF by himself. ZANU-PF is an interlocked system where we need a formidable force so that the prime objective of the movement, we have to fight collectively. As long Chamisa is on this side and Khupe is on this side, I don't see us succeeding. But what we need to do is to make sure that we have got differences that needs to be ironed out, and people come together, work as a formidable force, and the leadership should stop looking at their egos before the interests of the people. That's what I believe as a youth leader.
But surely, if your mission really is about dislodging ZANU-PF from power, surely in being guided by let's look at the previous election, and you have Khupe garnering about 45,000 votes. That's a national poll, and Nelson Chamisa garnering more than 2 million votes, although it is disputed. He still maintained that he garnered 2.6 million votes, but of course it's a dispute. But now, how will you choose Khupe, who garnered 45,000 votes, against someone who garnered over 2 million?
Now there comes the problem. Nelson Chamisa did not get 2.6 million. Thokozani Khupe did not get 45,000 votes. As per my view, when people go to vote, they don't vote for individuals, they vote for institutions. So that substantiates the fact that we need a formidable force. Because if you add 45,000 votes, it's another percentage to 2.6 million votes. People don't vote for individuals. If I can give you a very good example of Pastor Mawarire. Pastor Mawarire, at some time, he called the whole nation to halt. But when we went for an election in Mount Pleasant, what did he got? That means people of Zimbabwe doesn't vote for individuals, but for an institution.
But look at it, Mr. Mukoyi. This is someone who actually polled more than the party itself. Because he have won about more than 80 constituencies compared to the party itself, where the party garnered above 60 seats. But Nelson Chamisa won in over 80 constituencies. That surely should say something.
Was he an independent candidate?
No. What I want to... You are saying people don't vote for individuals. But here I'm saying this is the man who polled more than the party itself, and that indicates he is popular.
Representing an institution.
The figures there indicate that he is popular than the party itself.
For sure.
You agree on that stage?
For sure.
And therefore your decision should have been guided by that.
By what?
By that number.
A decision to do what?
No. Okay, well, let's move to the next step. You recently, Party Secretary General Douglas Ngonzola said you apologized to Khupe.
Yeah, sure.
What exactly did you apologize on?
In this path of this revolution or in this struggle, sometimes you make mistakes, you make blunders. Even Madam Khupe, at some time, she wronged me. I do agree that I wronged you. So, if we are to be leaders, we should be able to apologize. We should be able to admit our failures and rectify if we are to be true leaders. So I have to.
But I'm not
as well,
really,
she did to me.
I'm not really getting it here. What wrong exactly did you commit to Khupe?
No, those are internal factors.
Well, let me ask you something here, because obviously I assume that this referred to an incident that happened in Buera at Morgan Changrai's burial. Allegations.
I dismissed that.
Of the Youth League, trying to ban Khupe inside the hut.
I dismiss that, because if you go on YouTube, you can even see my video restraining youth from violent acts. So it's not something to do about the Buera burial thing.
So what exactly happened?
No, we had our issues.
No, what I'm referring is to Buera. In Buera, what happened in Buera?
Yeah, of course, there were some skirmishes of Madam Khupe and other members of the assembly. And when I arrived at Changrai's homestead with Wamba Diawamba, he assigned me to go and restrain the youth from violent activities. So it has nothing to do with my apology has nothing to do with the Buera Changrai homestead during the burial. We had our issues that we differed.
So when those people were you were restraining, what were they saying? What was their reason for threatening Khupe?
There was a lot of work. I did not have time to talk to them.
But of course, you could have interacted with the 102, and they would have, of course, shared with you their concerns, why they were doing that.
Yeah, of course, they had their complaints with Madam Khupe for that particular time.
What was the issue? What were the issues that they were not happy with?
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you I did not have much time to interact with the members of the Youth Assembly. As the moment that I found the situation is calm, I move away with the duties that I was executing.
Let me ask you also something. You have been also appointed the National Youth Chairperson of the Khupe-led MDC. But I have partly read the past constitution, which clearly states that only those between 16 to 35 are eligible for that position.
Yeah.
How do you take that's a violation of the constitution, right?
For sure. There are dynamics which are happening right now in MDC. That's why you did not see me contesting a youth position during the Alliance Congress in Gweru, because I'm cognizant of that. But there were cases before the Honorable Courts of Zimbabwe, and the Supreme Court has since handed down the judgment and reinstating the 2014 structures in which I was the deputy. So these structures are not going to have a 5-year term as per Constitution. These structures of 2014 are going to advocate for an extraordinary Congress. When the time of Congress comes, I'm not going to stand as a youth officer or contesting in the youth office. It will be insane for me to do that. I'm not going to do that. But because the Supreme Court has handed down the ruling and judgment so that the 2014 status quo will be reinstated, I have to abide by that.
But my question is, which position were you occupying in 2014?
Deputy chair.
You were the deputy chair, but it doesn't even retain you, doesn't lower your years, because the issue is right now you cannot, constitutionally, you cannot occupy the national youth chairperson according to the party constitution.
So what are you saying?
No, what I'm saying is this is a violation of your own constitution.
Okay.
Of the people who are saying they want to protect the constitution because what happened following the demise of Morgan Tsvangirai, it was not constitutional.
All right.
So here's the question. The constitution that they must protect is being violated, and is being violated with your name, with you being at the center.
But by 2014, how old was I in 2014?
No, of course, you might have been qualifying for that time, but what we are saying now is you are no longer eligible.
Because there is a matrix. There's a matrix. This is this is not a Congress we are having in 2020 that made me to be the chairperson for the Youth Assembly. But it is the structure of 2014 that was reinstated for purposes of having an extraordinary Congress. I'm cognizant of that. And I'm not even denying it.
Let's look at following the death of Morgan Tsvangirai. When Tsvangirai died in February 2018, you know the elections were at the door. What should have happened in your view? What was the best foot forward for the opposition following the demise of its founding father?
What was supposed to be done, an extra Congress was supposed to be done. But because of an election which was at the door, it was very difficult for that time to have an extraordinary Congress. However, other members of the party did not go well with them. So they have to approach the courts. If they approach the courts, then the Supreme Court of the land passes a judgment. We expect all members of the party, as we are law-abiding citizens, to abide by that judgment and that ruling, execute it peacefully.
But still questions are being raised here that these people are aligned to ZANU-PF.
Okay.
Supported by the system, and historically something that hasn't been happening. We know MDC had a history of splitting and dividing itself. In 2005 it happened, 2014 it happened, for the record, Tendai Biti the Welshman with the job scholars. But in those incidences, people are surprised now that the state is in the name of state institutions like the police and allegedly the military as well, being coming to aid in opposition to fight its own political wars. That must be a problem.
All right. On that aspect, the government has 4 arms. That is the executive, the legislation, the judiciary, and I've left one. But I'm very much interested in the judiciary. The judiciary does interpret the law, and the police enforces the law. So we had some problems when the Supreme Court handed down the judgment. The same guys who appealed to the Supreme Court rejected the decision by the Supreme Court, to an extent that some violent activities were carried out. Now, the other party, which was, I might not use a better term, but which was favored by the judgment of the Supreme Court, approached the courts and granted a peace order. We're supposed to enforce that order. Definitely, it is the police. The same applies. If someone breaks into, let me give you an example of my colleague. If a thief breaks into Comrade Vondo's house, if Comrade Vondo make a police report, and the police come to that place and inspect his house, can he be called ZANU-PF?
No, the question is, people are asking why, for all along there were problems within the opposition. The problem didn't start today. There were problems in the yesteryear. There were problems even a decade ago. But these people, when they were having their problems, not even the police intervened. Not even the police were seen to come and park at the harvest house.
The difference is, I do agree that in the past we had some problems. And on those past times that you are talking today, 2005, I led an operation against Welshman Khupe. The same applies in 2013. I was the Harare Provincial Youth Chairperson. I led it. But no cases, both of Welshman and BT were at the courts. But this was decided by the courts. And
so the police are justified to come?
Of course, because they are law enforcers. Because what precedence does it set when the supreme, the highest order of the land in terms of judiciary, passes a judgment? Then we violate that judgment. What situation will be true?
Here, what we see is another problem. Mm-hmm. The courts actually say they do recognize the political realities in that judgment. Mm-hmm. And in your understanding, what does it mean?
What it means to me, as an individual, there are other cases which were appealed to the courts, like the who should operate from Harvest House. If today the court said Nelson Chamisa and his outfit should operate from there, I expect Khupe, Komichi Monzora, and the whole outfit to respect that court judgment. If we are a democracy which preaches the rule of law, we should abide by those decisions.
But do you really
that's my view.
Do you really know who owns the Harvest House?
Harvest House is for MDC.
Which MDC now?
Now, when the party was formed, it was MDC. Then Welshman Khupe went out in 2005, and he had MDCN. We had another problem. We were approaching now election of 2008. That is where MDC T in brackets started, so that the electorate should not be confused. So, in its origins, it's MDC. So, Harvest House belongs to MDC. We are not talking of its structures and hierarchy, but a political party that is called MDC is the owner or are the owners of Harvest House.
How did MDC get Harvest House?
Yeah, I might not know, because some of the things were being done by the top echelons, as I've alluded before, that by that time I was a branch youth chairperson. I might not know what actually happens. But in my basic knowledge, I know that MDC belongs, Harvest House belongs to MDC.
But still, another challenge that people have is you appreciate that Mugen Tsvangirai was once beaten by the police and he died with those scars. And these are the same people who are now coming to aid you as an opposition. Surely that is sending a wrong message to the people, and you could be standing on the wrong side of history.
I might not understand when you say aiding. When you say aiding, because even before all these misunderstandings, before they even started, you could see when we want to hold our political gathering, whether it's a rally, the organizing secretary, Comrade Shibaya, applies to the police. How would you seek permission to the same guys that you say they are enemies? So this is just these are just cheap propaganda and machinations that our colleagues are trying to put in people's minds. But there is no end of ZANU-PF totally. There is no end of ZANU-PF totally. I would not side with ZANU-PF. I would not side with the state. I myself have got permanent injuries. I've got permanent injuries which were caused by police brutality. I could not side. But when they are doing what is right for that particular given time, then they are right. When they are wrong, then they are wrong.
So what's the significant contribution are you bringing to this camp?
Sorry?
What significant contribution, what contribution are you bringing to this camp?
Which camp?
The Thokozani Khupe camp.
Contribution?
Yes. What's your contribution now? What's your importance? Why have they recruited you?
I wasn't recruited.
Why have you defected to them?
I did not defect.
What's the significant contribution are you bringing to this camp? In other words, I'm saying, what role are you going to play?
Okay.
Why are you so relevant to them?
Yeah, you might say I'm relevant to them, but maybe they're relevant to me. You never know. But now, let me say, MDC was founded on certain principles. That is constitutionalism. That is why the likes of Dr. Tsvangirai was the chairperson of NCA when it was founded in 1997, before he was succeeded by Madam Tokomachi. It means that we believed in the ethics of constitution, and we have to abide by that. We believed in social democracy. So if I found that, as I've said before, no one is perfect. But if I found that maybe this one might be better in terms of upholding those areas I'm talking about.
You understand, of course, the grassroots, the reaction, and what they would want. So in these fictional fights, who is on the ground, what are people saying?
There are mixed feelings.
Sure.
Yeah, there are mixed feelings. That's why you see today I'm on this side. Maybe other comrades are on this side. If the whole nation is one thinking, we could all be on the Khupe side. We could all be on the Chamisa side. But there are mixed feelings.
Can you share some of those mixed feelings?
Yeah, people have got different opinions.
What are they saying?
Saying in terms?
You're saying people have got mixed opinions. on these factional fights.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying precisely?
Others are saying this one is right, others are saying this one is wrong, others are saying this one is right, others are saying this one is wrong.
Does that inform your decision to defect to Khupe?
No, I made a personal decision. It was a personal decision.
But let's look at it here, Mr. Mukoyi, because I understand the courts also have pointed out that there are political realities to say perhaps some of the things would have been overtaken by events. But let's precisely look at what it is right now. Nelson Chamisa has managed to still command a number of MPs who have refused and defied Thokozani Khupe. What does this mean to you in terms of power? I haven't looked much into the members of parliament things, but there are one or more factors regarding that. Others might be there because of their reasons. You know, the politics in Zimbabwe is becoming a bit difficult. One, the economy is shrinking. Two, there are no jobs. So others might think in their views that maybe Nelson Chamisa would one day say this or that to them. Others might join Thokozani Khupe thinking that maybe Khupe one day might say this and that to them. So commenting on them without actually knowing what they are thinking or what's their position regarding these matters, I think it will be unfair for me to comment on behalf of them. The issue is Chamisa has got the majority of the opposition MPs right now that are standing with him compared to those with Douglas Mwanzora's and Khupe's. So,
how many did he have?
I understand there are about 110, all of them. That I observed actually that the majority haven't been coming to parliament. They stick to that directive which was saying let's disengage from the parliamentary business. And they did listen to him, and that means he still have that majority of the MPs still on his side. So when that happens, what does it tell you about power? Who has got power now?
If Nelson Chamisa is 110 MPs, let's say so, if he had 110 members of parliament, let's go back. When the party was founded, it had not even had one member of parliament. But we have to work for it. So I have decided to join this outfit. Even if there is no one member of parliament who followed us, we will work so that we can have our own members in parliament. If we did not have a member of parliament in the long run, that means then people have rejected us. As I have said, we are talking about the apologetic thing. Then if we could not manage to have one, we should admit that the people of Zimbabwe are not with us. But right now, who can carry out a survey in the whole nation and say the whole nation is behind Nelson?
But the survey was done by ZEC. The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission did conduct the elections in 2018.
No,
and people precisely spoke to say they want President Emerson Mnangagwa, and secondly, followed by Nelson Chamisa, and then lastly, I don't know where you read Thokozani Khupe with the 45,000 votes. That tells you that survey was conducted.
Now you see,
we are not speaking about it.
Now there comes a problem. There comes a problem. You said the people of Zimbabwe chose Emerson Mnangagwa first, followed by Nelson Chamisa. I rejected that.
So what happened?
Because what I know...
This is what before us right now. These are the 6 states.
No, I think I don't know much about journalism, but I think we need to inform the nation on truthful facts. You all know that by that time, Emerson Mnangagwa lost
I don't.
You know, he lost to MDC Alliance.
I don't.
Well, so what it means, you have your facts that you want to drive me in, and then I drive out those facts with my mouth. I'm not going to do that.
This is now something very interesting now. So you are claiming Nelson Chamisa won the election and the MDC Alliance won the election. So why is persuading you to side with someone who just polled 45,000 votes? This is where the problem.
When was that election?
In 2018.
2018.
Mm. So I mean,
we are now heading for 2023.
I mean, this is just 2 years ago.
Yeah. We are now heading for 2023. What of if I want to be the president as well at the Extraordinary Congress?
Well, we must maybe come to the end of this discussion.
Maybe I want to be in the race.
The presidential.
Yeah, maybe I want to be in the race with Emerson Mnangagwa, with Nelson Chamisa. How do you know? Maybe I'm going to win the presidency at the Extraordinary Congress.
But then you shouldn't.
I supported him for that time, and on those 2.6 million, there is my vote, including my family members.
If you are really aspiring for state power, then you must be in the wrong camp. Well, those people, they don't have numbers. If you are just to be looking at what is happening,
just wait and see. Otherwise, you don't really know why I have chosen this path. It's well calculated. I don't make mistakes. Mark my words, I don't make mistakes. It's well calculated.
There is going to be an extraordinary Congress.
Sure.
And there are people, of course, who are very prominent. The Senator Morgan Komichi, you've got Elias Mzuri, Khupe, the acting president, and Senator Wanzo as well. Who is yours?
Who is mine?
Who would you want to take over the reins of the party?
Anyone whom the people will choose is mine.
Would you have any problem if Elias Mzuri wins as the
I don't have problem. I don't have problem. Even if Wamba wants to participate in that extraordinary Congress, if he wins, I don't have problem.
Do you think it's going to be a fair extraordinary Congress?
That I'm going to make sure it's fair. That's the role of the Youth Assembly, to make sure that things are straight.
What do you think will happen if Thokozani Khupe retains the party's reins?
Then the people have chosen.
But this is the person who didn't garner much votes in the previous election. That probably would mean the dead end of that camp.
Election is very tricky. Right now, let's say we are 5 years. We make an election, who can be a committee member or so. For an example, you win by 3 votes, I have 2 votes. 3 minutes after those results announced, we had a rerun, I will win. That is the mode of an election.
Mr. Mukoyi, it was nice speaking to you.
Thank you.
Hello viewers, and thank you so much. We were speaking to the MDC T, and now it's becoming very difficult now because these MDCs are now many. The MDC T, National Youth Chairperson, who was this week appointed to take over. Remember, in 2014, he was deputizing Hepmo Bondo, Hepmo Chidziva, Aka Bondo, who was actually elected as the National Youth Assembly Chairperson in 2014. And he is of the view that his decision to join the Khupe-led camp is a very informed decision. He has made this decision out of abundant caution, so to say. And he is saying he do have scars that were caused by ZANU-PF, scars that were caused by police brutalities, and he will never align himself to such people who have got wounds, from whom he have sustained wounds. So until next time, thank you so much for following Newsroom TV. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at newszimbabwe.com, and do like our Facebook page, newszimbabwe.com. Also, for more of these and greater stories in detail, log on to our website, www.newszimbabwe.com.